Imagine this. You're standing in a lineup with 1,000 other people, and right away, you realize you already look better than 975 of them. It's like hitting the genetic jackpot. You might be wondering, how did I get so lucky? But here's the best part. No matter where you stand right now, with hard work, discipline, and dedication, there's still room for improvement. You can take what you've got and level up even more. Genetics may set the stage, but your actions are the real game changer. It's not about where you start, it's about how far you're willing to go. In today's video, we're going to explore just how good your genetics really are. There's a lot of noise out there, arguments and debates about whether someone has below average, average, above average, or even elite level genetics. But by the end of this, you're going to have a clear understanding of where you fit in the mix and what that really means for you. Let's get started. Understanding your genetic potential isn't just about comparisons. It's about knowing what's possible for you. It's a mix of science, hard work, and realistic expectations. By the end, you'll see that no matter where you start, there's always room for progress. Here's the thing about genetics. They're not one size fits all. Your genetic strengths can vary wildly depending on the sport, activity, or even the specific skills required within a single category. For instance, you might be naturally gifted at building muscle, packing it on like it's second nature. But then you step on stage at a bodybuilding competition and, boom, you place dead last. Why? Because muscle size alone isn't enough. Shape and proportions matter too. It's like having all the right ingredients, but none of the recipe. It just doesn't come together the way you'd hope. This highlights a key truth about genetics. They might give you a head start in one area, but leave you behind in another. Some people may excel at building raw strength, but struggle with endurance or speed. Others might have perfect aesthetics, but find it difficult to put on muscle mass. It's not about having perfect genetics. It's about figuring out what you're naturally good at and maximizing it. Recognizing your strengths and weaknesses is the first step to reaching your potential. Or maybe you're built for raw power. Imagine crushing deadlifts, hoisting insane weight, and hitting milestones that others can only dream of, all by your early 20s. That's elite-level strength genetics in action. But here's the kicker. Genetics alone don't guarantee success. They're the foundation, not the finish line. It's what you do with those genetics that really makes the difference. Hard work and consistent effort will always separate those who rely solely on talent from those who push beyond their natural abilities. Even the most genetically gifted need discipline and focus to unlock their true potential. Without proper training and dedication, even elite genetics can fall short. Success isn't handed out. It's earned through grit and determination. But here's where it gets interesting. Genetics don't work across the board. Someone might excel in one area, like pulling insane weight on a deadlift, but then struggle with something like the bench press, barely managing to push past 300 pounds. It just goes to show that being genetically gifted in one thing doesn't automatically mean dominance in everything. This same principle applies to any sport, activity, or even job. Genetic strengths can vary, sometimes dramatically. A person might have exceptional speed but lack endurance, or be great at tasks requiring precision but struggle with brute force. These variations highlight how genetics shape abilities differently for everyone. The key is to understand where your natural abilities lie and focus your energy on maximizing those areas. So I'm going to break down the 6 categories that define exactly where your genetics stand. And here's the thing. No matter where you land on the genetic spectrum, whether you're at the top or scraping the bottom of the barrel, you can still improve. The catch? There's a limit. Even with the hardest work and most dedicated effort, you can only move up so far. For those starting with the worst genetics, you might be able to jump up 2 categories. But that's still a win worth celebrating. Improvement isn't about perfection. It's about progress. Small victories build momentum and keep you motivated to keep pushing. By recognizing your limits, you can set realistic goals and enjoy the process of becoming the best version of yourself. Alright, let's talk about where your genetics might actually land. On the low end, we've got the worst genetics. We're talking about the kind of genetics where nothing seems to work. It's a serious uphill battle. Next step up? Still not great. Or what you might call shaky genetics. After that, there's below average, which, while not amazing, gives you a little more to work with. Climbing higher, you get to above average genetics. Then comes elite level genetics, where people start looking like they were made for greatness. And finally, at the very top, you've got the ultra elite, the best of the best, the ones that seem almost untouchable. Each level comes with its own challenges and opportunities, shaping the path to improvement. No matter where you fall, understanding your starting point is the key to making meaningful progress. Here's the kicker. No matter where you start, you can improve. You can move up 2 genetic categories if you're willing to put in the time and effort. But let's be clear, this is based on a bell curve, and most people are somewhere in the middle. The further you move from the average, the rarer things get. Think of it like this. If you're in the lowest category, the bottom 0.15%, only 1.5 people out of 1,000 are there with you. That's rare, but it also means your starting point is rough. Progress from this level can feel slow, but every small win matters. Each step forward is proof of your hard work and resilience. It's not about catching up to the elite. It's about becoming better than where you started. Even with challenges, improvement is always possible. The journey is as much about growth as it is about learning your limits and how to push past them. Even with a decade of hard work and all the extra help you can imagine, the best you might achieve is a below-average physique. And while that might not sound glamorous, it's still progress. It's still better than where you started, and for some, that's all the victory they need. Think about it. Doesn't that seem worth it? Maybe you started out benching 100 pounds, and now you're pushing close to 300. Sure, it's not elite, but it's still a massive improvement. That kind of progress isn't just about the weight, it's about proving to yourself what you're capable of. Why stop trying just because you won't be the best in the world? Each step forward is a win, and those wins add up over time. Progress like this teaches discipline, consistency, and perseverance, qualities that go beyond fitness. It's not about perfection, it's about the process. Every lift, every rep, and every effort counts, building a stronger version of yourself. Remember, it's not where you end up, it's how far you've come from where you started. And the same goes for someone with above-average genetics. They might naturally excel compared to most people, but without pushing themselves, they'd never unlock their full potential. Imagine someone with such a head start who put in extra effort, trained harder, stayed consistent, and optimized their nutrition. They could achieve a remarkable level of performance, far beyond what most people might consider possible. So, why not commit fully and see how far they can take it? Take, for example, someone who shows exceptional strength from a young age. They might be able to lift heavier weights than most of their peers without much training. However, without proper structure, that natural strength wouldn't amount to much. Instead, they dedicate themselves to consistent practice, refining their techniques and continuously challenging their limits. They adjust their routines to maximize progress, prioritize recovery, and focus on proper nutrition to fuel their performance. Over time, their hard work compounds, transforming potential into extraordinary results. Each milestone they achieve is a testament to the combination of their natural abilities and their commitment to improving. Even when they reach levels others might consider elite, they continue striving for more, knowing that effort is what keeps progress alive. Their journey is proof that talent alone is never enough. It's how that talent is nurtured that truly matters. This idea applies across all areas of life, not just fitness. Someone with natural artistic ability won't become a master without years of practice and refinement. Likewise, a person gifted in academics won't excel unless they dedicate themselves to learning and developing their skills. Talent might open the door, but hard work is what keeps it open and pushes it further. Even those who seek to enhance their abilities with additional tools or resources understand that effort remains the most critical factor. External help can only amplify what's already being worked on. It cannot replace discipline and focus. Success always boils down to a mix of natural ability and the actions taken to maximize it. Without consistent effort, even the best genetics can go to waste. At its core, this principle reminds us that progress is possible for everyone, regardless of their starting point. Natural gifts are only the beginning. They set the stage, but the effort put in determines the outcome. Each small improvement builds on the last, creating momentum that leads to lasting growth. Those who embrace this mindset can achieve far more than they initially believed possible. Ultimately, it's about the journey. Genetics might give someone the tools, but resilience, determination, and consistent effort are what allow them to achieve greatness. No matter where someone starts, their willingness to work is what decides how far they can go. It's all about setting realistic goals. If you aim for progress that's achievable and then exceed it, that's where satisfaction comes from. When your expectations align with reality, you're setting yourself up for success, not disappointment. So, instead of chasing an unrealistic ideal, focus on what's possible for you and let that be your guide. There's nothing quite like surprising yourself and realizing, I did even better than I thought. That's the kind of satisfaction you can aim for. But when it comes to fitness, it's crucial to set realistic goals that factor in your genetics. If you've got less than ideal genetics, let's call them shaky or below average, your goal should be to aim for an average physique. And that's perfectly fine. Here's the reality. If you're starting at the bottom, you're not going to make a night and day transformation and suddenly look better than the majority of the world. It's just not in the cards. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't try to look your best. It doesn't mean you shouldn't work out, improve, and strive for progress. Everyone has the ability to get better. And while the journey may be challenging, the satisfaction of seeing tangible improvements makes every effort worth it. That said, the extent of your improvement is, to some degree, predetermined by your genetics. Even with all the supplements and advanced techniques in the world, there are limits. Sure, certain products might help maximize your potential, like supplements that can improve cardiovascular performance, but they won't magically override your genetic ceiling. If you have poor genetics for endurance, no supplement is going to turn you into a professional cyclist. If you've got below average genetics, no supplement, no magic pill, or even every supplement in the book is going to turn you into a professional bodybuilder. Even if you go the route of performance-enhancing drugs, you can't take a physique that's starting at the bottom and magically leap to the top 1% of the world. It just doesn't work that way. But that doesn't mean you're stuck. Take a moment to assess where you're at. Imagine lining up 1,000 people and figuring out where you fall. Maybe you're in the bottom 25% right now. That might feel daunting, but here's the good news. With hard work, discipline, and consistency, you can improve a lot. Sure, maybe you'll never have elite-level genetics, but think about this. If you start at the bottom 25% and climb to the top 50%, that's a huge leap. You've gone from being better than just 25 people out of 1,000 to being better than 500. That's incredible progress. You've moved from below average to above average, and while it may not sound glamorous, it's a transformation worth celebrating. Every step forward is proof of your effort and resilience, and that's what matters most. Improvement isn't about comparing yourself to the best in the world. It's about becoming better than the person you were yesterday. Even small changes, like adding an extra rep, running a little further, or eating healthier meals, can add up to a big difference over time. Progress doesn't happen overnight, but it happens consistently when you stay committed. It's those incremental gains that eventually lead to noticeable results. So the next time you hear someone say, "Oh, some people just can't improve because of their genetics," remember this. Your starting point doesn't define your destination. The truth is, everyone has the potential to get better, regardless of where they begin. It's not about reaching perfection. It's about striving for progress. The key is to focus on what you can achieve and celebrate every step forward on your journey. Every win, no matter how small, is a sign that you're moving in the right direction. Progress is personal, and your journey is unique to you. Now that you've watched the video, I hope everything clicks for you. It's all about understanding where you stand, setting realistic goals, and working hard to improve. So, what do you think? Does it make sense now? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear your perspective. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you don't miss future content. And hey, while you're here, why not check out one of the videos popping up on the screen? There's always more to learn and more ways to level up your fitness journey. Thanks for watching, and until next time, see you soon.